Welcome once again to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. This time for the journey into comicdom, I am joined by the stalwarts, random dude Josh. Josh, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Enjoying the playoffs, even though the Finns aren't in it. And then across the way to my channel hopping right, we have Tracy. Tracy, how's it going?
I am all good, Johnny. I'm just so happy to be talking to you again.
Oh, bless. You say the nicest things.
I do, right?
She really does. She's the nice one of the group.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought Freyja was the nice one of the group.
Listen to when we talked about American Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a book.
Carnage.
Do you want me? I tell you what, we're just gonna have to look at the book when it comes out as a trade, and then go from there. So
yes,
we'll do that. We'll do that all over, and then it's like it'll be one pod aimed at American Carnage.
I think that's a great idea because obviously I'll make a little shout out now before we start, but we will be returning with the definitive Crusade is going to be doing the dynamic convergent again.
Woohoo!
And we obviously love our DC and we are definitely sticking to our roots. But the powers that be and the gods that is our Mr. Al is also going to be including Marvel. So we're going to have some interesting things. But that would be a very good one to do on our TDC2. So keep your eyes and ears peeled, people.
That's a good shout. In fact, I would, as a comparison, I'd like to see someone have a discussion about the mature books that DC can put out versus the mature books that Marvel put out. Of course, it might be the shortest pod in the history of podcasts, but
I could talk about that for hours.
There you go. So all you what is it? God Love Man Kills, which was the first X-Men graphic novel that came out. All you epic comic book fans out there and stuff, get your shouts in and we'll do that comparison for you. Excellent.
Definitely, guys. Hopefully
that is so good. Which one does the better mature rated books?
DC. I'm sorry, I had a sneeze there.
Oh, did you? Detective.
I would give somebody $5 right now if anyone can tell me a Marvel mature book. And I'm now rich. Excellent. Okay, so moving on to the books that we're going to look at. We're going to look at a couple of books that are already in the stores, ready for you to go and check them out if you haven't bought them already, and plus a couple of books coming up that you're going to be interested in. First off, it is the season. January the 4th kicked it off. For those people living in the US of A. For the rest of us, we'll have to hope that somebody picks the show up. But Young Justice is back. On top of the Young Justice Outsiders tie-in book, on top of Titans, and on top of Teen Titans, the powers that be, they have taken it a step further, and we get a Young Justice book. Tracy, take it away.
So, I love this book. Oh I did not think I was going to.
Really?
Obviously.
That's your name written all over it.
I know it has, but that's why I enjoyed it. But I didn't, with the bombardment of everything else, as you just said, I was like, oh God, it's just going to be half-hashed stuff. It was brilliant. The variant covers are stunningly beautiful. The artwork is bright and poppy. The conversations within are hilarious. My new favorite character is in this book, Kid Flash, man. That kid is what they were aiming for in the Justice League movie with Flash. That's what they were aiming for, and now they have it in the book. We get to see all our favorites. We get to see like a crazy Texan who doesn't have a driving license but likes to carry her guns. We get to see Zeus's granddaughter who doesn't really know she wants to be so part of this. Another Batman throw off of what another little Robin comes along. Then we have a Lantern who doesn't know what they're fecking doing. Hilarious Flash. And then, oh my God, puberty has hit Superboy, and he's a 5 o'clock shadow.
Hey.
It was brilliant. Even like the story itself, Yeah, whatever. This all just this introductions and the reintroductions to these characters for me was fantastic. And being a Young Justice book, you can be like, "Hey kids, look at this! It's all shiny."
All
Yeah.
shiny. Is that that's a professional opinion we're going with? Young Justice. It's all shiny.
Well, isn't that what the kids say?
I don't know. I'm in my 40s. Who knows what the kids say? Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't really know. I should bring my niece in America.
Yeah, there you go. So would you give your niece this book to read?
I would, but I'd even go to the point of showing it to my 6-year-old nephew and saying, "Look at this," and he's in the middle of his putting his words together in the way they do it in school now, where they teach them that it's like phonetically, so they sound all the words out, so they're able to read quicker. So he'd be totally able to pick up the book and go, off you go. Cool. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it for all ages, depending on where they take the story. But the hilarity of Kid Flash just stole it for me. That, as I said, he is my new favorite person to read at the moment.
He is totally Crash, indeed.
Oh man, it's so funny, He's totally awesome.
So to give some credits out, the book's written by Brian Michael Bendis. Art is by DC stalwart, somewhat superstar at times, Patrick Gleason. Colors are by Alejandro Sanchez, and the lettering is by DC Lettering, which seems an appropriate lettering company for a DC comic.
But it's terrible that there's not one specific person.
No,
it mightn't have been. It might have been a group of people lettering it. Still,
it could
letterers don't get enough shout outs.
It could be it's a company. I don't know. We'll have to do some internet research and find out. Josh.
So
young Josh,
I'm definitely not young. That's for damn sure. I'm going to echo what Tracy said. This book was just downright fun. I don't care that it was the number one. It was just so well put together. I love the fact that they've brought Superboy, as far as the style from, after the death of Superman from the 90s, they brought that style back. Because I thought that was badass then. I think it's badass now. Can we just say quickly then, is that not just a tie-in with the Reign of Superman DVD coming out soon? No, that has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. I always loved that style of Superboy, and I thought it worked for then. Like I said, it works now. I like the fact that they've got Tim Drake as Robin. Nice mix-up. Nothing against Damian Wayne. He's an awesome Robin, but Tim Drake is for this particular universe, if you will, having Tim Drake is the best choice. Kid Flash, loved him. It was definitely, I could tell that he was very impulsive. As you're reading through the book, I had to take a step back and say, okay, what the hell just happened? He went a little fast for me. But it fits the character. Totally okay with it. That first splash page where Robin appears on top of the truck, damn, that was just downright badass. But I absolutely loved it. Like Tracy said, don't really care where the story goes. It's fun no matter what.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a bit of a mix of a book, to be fair. When you think about it, you've got Impulse Stroke, Kid Flash kicking in there. You've got John Hex's daughter, granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter, whatevs. Tim Drake Robin, which we've mentioned. Throw in 90s Superboy. So this is Connor Kent, not Jonathan Kent. And then you've got Wonder Girl with an absolutely awful redesign of an outfit. Right, okay, I'm going to get flack for this, but I didn't mind the last time she was in Teen Titans. People will say, oh, well, the art was all this and the art was all that. But to me, it's like, this doesn't scream, read this book for me. And of course, you've got Teen Lantern. I just want to say quickly as an aside how many Green Lanterns does it take to protect an Earth, or Sector 2814? It's like bonkers, isn't it? I mean, how many is there now? There's Teen Lantern, Hal, Guy, Kyle, Simon, Jess.
There's loads of them.
It's like there's more Green Lanterns around Earth than there's in the core, practically.
I'm sure we'll talk about Green Lantern in a minute.
We might not take a minute for that one.
Well, to answer your question, Johnny, how many lanterns does it take to protect Sector 2814? 2,814 lanterns just for that one sector. There you go.
Is that how it goes? Oh, so we're going to get a few back then. Okay.
Yeah.
So story-wise, killing me. Story-wise, okay. So tell me if you've heard this before. A powerful young lady is on the run and causes the formation of a team of teens, Titans, if you would. Anybody heard that story before?
No, never. Why would we have ever heard that?
Have we not heard that in maybe Teen Titans 1 when Raven caused the formation of the crew in the first place? I am being a little bit jaded, I'm sorry. I agree with you both that it is a fun book. And if fun is what you want out of your comic books, and it's sassy, it's got some interesting elements in there, then this is it. You can tell that Bendis has got his Marvel on. This reads like a Marvel book rather than a DC book, and yeah, that's fine. The art's a selling point. Patrick Gleason, I said stalwart, sometimes superstar, but he is absolutely killing it on this. The only thing I've got issue-wise, and I said this more for Freyja than for anybody else, but on the main cover, the bog standard cover when all of them are in. Yeah. Take a look at Superboy's right hand. Can you tell me which one is his thumb and which one is his little finger? Because I can't work it out.
It's just standard hand.
Yeah, it's like what? It's like, is it what?
It's almost bad tattoo style.
Almost. But it's one of those things that once you see it, you can't not see it.
Unsee it, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Yeah, that is definitely a no regrets moment right there.
So, Freyja, that's a shout out to you. Hope you enjoyed the book. Take a look at the cover. Go apoplectic if you want. That's fine. All in all, yeah, it was a fun little read. I don't know the wisdom of them being so many Titan books, though, because, as I said, you've got the Outsiders book, you've got this, you've got Teen Titans, you've got Titans. And when you're watching the cartoon show, those characters appear across a range of different books. So it's not, I don't know.
Not cohesive enough for you, Johnny?
I don't know.
But it's not just the same thing they do with every other Batman book and Batman Shootout and, Detective Comics, and then we're going to get Metals, and then we have, it's the same thing.
Yes, I guess, but I'm not sure how the validity of it, to be fair. That's my only shout. I mean, bearing in mind, both the original Young Justice, both the Teen Titans and Titans books have all been cancelled more than once. And now, at this stage, we've got 3 books. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying.
But it's a fun little read. And if you've got Tim Drake, sooner or later, Steph Brown's going to pop up. So that's all good for me. I'm happy with that. If only wishing made it so. All right. Okay. So unanimous thumbs up for Young Justice #1. Go check it out. I think this one's also going to be unanimous. Out in the stores right now. Came on an off week for us. Here's the third issue of Grant Morrison's Magnus Opus when it comes to everything that is green and lanternish. So this is Green Lantern #3, written by Grant Morrison, art by Liam Sharp, colours by Steve Orliff, and letters by the always fantastic, the legendary Tom Olszewski. And I've said that wrong. Olszewski. There you go. I'll try my best.
All you can do, honey. It's all we ask.
Who's been a letterer for more years than I've been reading comic books. So
yes, he has.
You can see how his great works. Who would like to kick this one off?
This book was poor. And that's how I'm going to be politically correct about it. The illustrations were poor. The story was poor. Sorry about when we gave you a shout out there, but the lettering was poor.
Really?
It was.
The best thing about it.
Well, I couldn't even go to that point of saying, all right, at least the lettering was okay. This was a train wreck
Yeah.
Hashtag no regrets.
No regrets in any way, shape, or form. This book was, I am going to swear, it was piss poor.
All right, okay. Josh, do you agree?
You know, as I was reading through this book, I sat there and thought to myself, I think I'd rather read the Old Testament.
Well, you know, God does turn up in this book, so hey.
Oh, God. The Old English in this,
did I not purchase the planet fair and square? I did survive.
Having grown up, reading, say, the Bible in the Old English. That's the only... I can't do this new translated stuff. It has to be the Old English. That's what I'm used to. So reading through this, I was like, okay, I understand what he's saying, but oh my hell. Can we just have and how Jordan begot this person and this person begot that? Because right now that would be more interesting, getting the genealogy in the Old Testament than this book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just that, yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
So was there nothing in here that kind of floated your boat at all?
The only highlight of the book was the lettering for me.
Yeah, I'll give you on that one.
The only highlight of the book for me was when I closed and I didn't have to read it anymore.
And next month we'll be doing number 4.
I'm telling you now, I'm not going to be here next month. Or next week, or next 2 weeks.
I quit.
Done.
All right, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Let's backtrack a tad. This is Grant Morrison, right? So Grant Morrison, you either love him or you hate him. He's either Marmite or he's the best thing you've ever read. Now, I recently went through, I finally had some time off work for a little bit, and I caught up on all my back issues that I picked up recently, and then it was some of the Batman RIP stuff that he wrote from around 677 to around 680 something. And reading out of sync as I was, because I was just reading the issues without picking up the gaps that I've already filed away, it is a bit wonky. His writing does tend to be quite driven in places. But when you look back at the whole tapestry of the thing, you read from start to finish, it makes a modicum of sense. Yes, he can be a little bit zany. Batman Incorporated would be a particular version of that, where he's taken an idea and maybe extrapolated just a tad too far. The problem we've got with Green Lantern, in my opinion, is that Green Lantern's history, or Hal Jordan's history at the very least, is so mired and so varied that when Morrison tries to pull this whole let's tie everything together type of thing that he did with Batman and X-Men beforehand, it doesn't always sit right.
Yeah.
I think we've seen Hal Jordan in every state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've seen him as the young rookie Lantern. We've seen him as the aged old Lantern in Emerald Dawn 2. We've seen him in taking responsibility for his actions. We've seen him dead. We've seen him as the Spectre. We've seen him using Sinestro's ring. We've seen him using the Yellow Ring if you follow Injustice. So there's not a lot more you can throw on this. And you'd like to think that Morrison, with his knowledge of comic books, would be able to weave an interesting tapestry here. But as I'm reading this book, I'm reminded that this series is supposed to be split. So year 1 is season 1, season 2 is a different year, and so on and so forth. I don't know if we're just being set up for Hal Jordan being a douche and losing his ring and then going through some level of I
was going to say something really rude there.
losing his ring and going through some point rehabilitation to get back and showing how great he is and so on and so forth, which is what Morrison did with Batman to an extent when he zapped him in Final Crisis. I don't know. The art, Liam Sharp, his Wonder Woman book, I think we can all agree was gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
And yet, this book, that scene, that panel with all the Justice League in it, is just awful. It's just, I don't know if he's trying to cram too much in, if he's being blown away by the scope of what Morrison's trying to write. I don't know what it is. I mean, even the Batman, Wonder Woman, Brave and the Bold book, if you didn't like the story, it was decent to look at for the most part. This is just, it's hard work. It definitely has that European 2000 AD feel, which is fine because Morrison's a Scot and Liam Sharp's a Brit, so you'd expect that. Wachowski's letters are the best thing in this book. I don't know if I'd say the book is plain awful. What hurts me the most is the cancelled Green Lanterns with Jess and Simon for this book. And Hal Jordan in the Green Lanterns. So both those books were doing well. I don't understand. But if you're intrigued by what's going on in Green Lantern 3, go back, pick up some Green Lantern back issues and read it for yourself. Work your own opinion on Hal Jordan's history. Don't let somebody regurgitate it and tell you how it is. I guess it's probably what I'd say about the book.
Well said.
That's all I got to say about that.
I don't know what you guys think. I mean, do we have any Green Lantern Tracy, I know you're not a massive Green Lantern fan.
No, I'm not a fan at all.
Josh, go on.
I would, but as you said, like it is a very interesting concept. The Lanterns concept is something, and if you're into like your Justice League, Teen Titans group settings, they are the books to read. And some of the older story arcs are fantastic. Mm-hmm. So go and get older ones. You know what I mean? Don't just pick it up and be like, oh shit, it's all shit. That book isn't great. Have a look at something else before you make up your mind as somebody maybe new to it.
Yeah, good shout. Josh, what your thoughts? Are you a Lantern fan by history?
You know, I like Tracy said, the concept of the lanterns is cool and very, very interesting. I think my absolute favorite iteration of Hal Jordan in Green Lantern would be from Justice League: The New Frontier.
All right, yeah, that's a good shout.
You know, that one was fun. I mean, God, this book makes me want to just watch the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds just to feel better about myself.
Yeah, I would rather that.
Oh, God. Nothing could be that bad, right?
Well, yeah, I can. Something could be worse than this. But I'll leave it at that for everyone to wonder, oh, God, what was worse than that?
Don't worry, there's another...
Fantastic Four.
There's another 9 issues of this year, so I'm imagining chances are...
You know, there were slight moments that I'm like, okay, that was kind of a cool panel, that was cool and whatnot. But those slight moments, they don't overtake the overall meh feeling that I have with the books. So
that's a good shout. Definitely.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. On a semi-positive note.
I like the police tape line that you put across everything. That just made me. That was probably the best.
I will admit that one was cool, and then just and I don't know why this panel stuck out, but towards the end of the book when, right as Hal throws the nails, and you see Hal Jordan say, "What?" That one little panel. The use of blacks to really kind of hide his face more was very well done. That's it. Cool. I leave it at that one little rectangle with the broccoli lantern in the back. Whoever does...
Broccoli lantern.
The only real panel that stuck out to me, and it was because the only reason it made me giggle is because I've got a weird sense of matching things together, was the stupid flash in the badge. That big look at the badge. And I was like... Dragnet.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, okay, fine. So, moving away from everything intergalactic, we are with DC's stalwart hero of a sort. We are going back to the man who kind of is Mr. DC for a lot of people, although this one he's having a bit of a giggle and fit. Teen Plus book, not quite mature, but it's getting there. We have The Batman Who Laughs, #2, which is written by Scott Snyder, art by Jock, colours by David Barron, and then letters by Sal Capriano. Is that right there? Got them all. Cool. Josh. Yay, woo, check me out. Woo, go on. Yay, you said it right. Woo. Josh, take it away. The Batman Who Laughs.
I enjoyed this book. It was dark and gritty. I'm enjoying this miniseries thus far. It just, I could honestly go on and on. I do like the different monologue styles for you to tell the difference of who's thinking or who's speaking. I like how they designed that. Just dark and gritty and everything you would expect from a Batman story.
Okay.
Scott, any of the Scott Snyder books that I have read, I have thoroughly enjoyed so far, and I realize this is just only the second issue, so we still got a little ways to go. Still 4 more books, but so far I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Okay, cool. What do you think of the art?
I thought the art was fantastic, actually. It was dark and gritty, and it works well for the nature of this story.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Tracy?
Well, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You guys know I like my mature content. I love the darkness and dark elements of those kind of books. And from the minute this story started, it had me. Alfred wanting to make a choice that you would never think he would do. And trying to justify it's okay for me to step away from this right now. And I mean that in a physical sense. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was like, oh my God. And they like he's the conscience, and now he's trying to justify this act that he could do that would change everything. The story itself is great. I'm loving that they're throwing like all the Bruce Waynes out there, all the different variants of him, of how he could be if things had gone differently. And that's a huge psychological twist for the actual Batman character. It's fantastic to be like, actually, he could have been this way. He could have been that way. The artwork was beautiful. I loved the tones. I loved how certain gradations were doing in certain panels where it was like that sharpness of the dark through. I loved the way Joker breathes by laughing. And just the way that the lettering was spaced out and written out was just genius. Like you said, Johnny, about the or Josh, whichever one obvious it was, about how you knew who was thinking and who was talking. I cannot wait for the next one.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, as you know, that I'm not always a huge Snyder fan at times. This book has shed loads of little homages in it. Did anybody pick up the Bam Pow style of fighting?
Yeah.
A nod towards the old 60s TV show. Your comment about the different Bruce Waynes, I actually think it's different Bruce Waynes from the different multiverses.
Yeah.
So the Bruce Wayne that was in this one was a mayor. I think that was Earth 2 Batman. to Bruce Wayne at one point. Was Commissioner, then Mayor of Gotham. So I don't know if the Batman Who Laughs, with his not touch on whatever Justice League, League of Doom's going on, he's going around picking them out from all the different places. If Snyder finally goes the whole hog, he finally lets us know that the Joker knows who Batman is kind of like the thing at this. And I think by now the secret identity of Batman is so throwaway that it should be known for everybody and let the cards fall where they may. This book's supposed to be continuity. It's got James Gordon Jr. in it, who was last seen in a Batgirl comic, stuck in prison. Hopefully that'll get explained down the line. Sometimes it does feel that Snyder's writing his story and be damned to everything else that's going on in the DC universe, which is a little bit disappointing considering he's writing Justice League as well. You'd like to think there'd be some sort of connect from that point.
Some continuity somewhere.
Yeah, a little bit. But the only other things that I kind of noticed writing-wise is Bullock. When did Bullock become such an expert on the multiverse? You know, he goes to like 3 or 4 panels spouting all this techno babble that would make a Star Trek nerd proud.
That's what this book made Bullock cool. I mean, he was more of a pain in the ass. Cool. I know, but finally he has a chance to be cool to the point that even Gordon was like,
"Huh? Absolute indignance there." Oh.
No. Bullock is not cool. That's how it goes. It's the rules.
Well, we are breaking the rules in this book. Therefore, it works in this book.
Well, I disagree. I think there needs to be some constants in the universe. You can't just turn around and make Bullock super smart in one comic and expect him to be stupid, super dumb in all the others. Come on, man.
Bullock, did I pick it up wrong? Is it not Batman pretending to be Bullock? I'm going to run into it and check quickly.
If anything, if you're wanting to be the stickler on the continuity, at least it wasn't Commissioner Bullock.
That's very true.
True.
You would have lost your shit if it was Commissioner Bullock and Detective James Gordon.
Hang fire. So he jumps off there. Later, victim is no. It doesn't. There's where would you say it?
I don't know. Just the way Bullock's eyes are.
I'm just looking. I'm just reading through this, glancing through this. Maybe there's one panel that maybe gives it away, but it's a really, really dodgy panel. Absolutely, there's no indication there. If that is Bruce pretending to be Bullock, that is a really dodgy setup.
Is it the way that his eyes are?
It's on page. Where's that? Page 11, the bottom of page 11, where he says it's an old map of Gotham. And the way the shadow is, it makes it look like a cowl. But even so, that's probably, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a reach or not. Well, that's what makes comics good. We all have different opinions, I suppose. The art by Jock is great. I like the art. I think story-wise, I've got to be saying I'm not reading this book for any particular non-reason other than the fact that I'm not a big fan of Judge Death. I mean the joke Batman Who Laughs. That's just the way I've always said from day one about metals. So I'm kind of go with that on that one. So I think if you're a fan of metals, then good, go for it. If you enjoy that sort of stuff, great. Jock's artwork's great. But for me, I can take or leave this stuff. So
still a better book than Green Lantern.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you that. There is one other element that could potentially show that it's Bullock and Bruce are the same person in this. There's a bit where Batman's got orange eyes, which is the same color eyes that Bullock had at one point. So
and how one eye was like squinted and the other was wide open.
That's
what I was referring to when I was referencing the eyes.
I don't know. You'd have to tell me on
We may be reading into it a little more in depth than average readers, but It's a fun plot twist if that is the case.
I hope it is.
Mr. Snyder, get your ass on the podcast and tell us which way that is, please.
Please, Mr. Snyder, please. I will sell a kidney. I just talk to you. I won't proper fangirl up. I'll just be like, I'll keep myself calm. But please.
Before you say yes to that proper fangirl thing, just hear how she talked to Nicholas Scott first before you.
Excuse me, I done really well with talking to Nicholas Scott, and then we talk to each other every now and again. If I say something on her Twitter, she answers me, and then she sent me a message saying that she was looking forward to seeing me at a convention, and then she couldn't go, so she messaged me saying, "Sorry, I can't see you at that convention, but we'll catch up soon."
See what I mean?
That was it.
And that's how you fangirl, everybody. Well done, yay!
Yay!
Shut up.
Hey, Johnny, just keep in mind she's a lot closer to you than I am, so.
Yeah, Johnny.
She could easily fly over to your neck of the woods, drop kick you, and then fly back.
Well, there's this little thing. I'm protected by this little thing called Brexit. I'll be fine.
Well, not really, are you? Because it's not happening that. No, I'm not getting into that conversation. That's not a conversation for this podcast.
On the next episode of Hammered Heroes.
TTC does politics. Coming soon. All right. Okay, so the last book that we're going to look at, against my better judgment, because I swear to God that this book just does absolutely... This book is worse than Green Lantern. There you go.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
We have Red Hood Outlaw, number 30, which is odd considering it's only been Red Hood Outlaw for a few issues, but it's written by Scott Lobdell, art by Pete Woods, colours by Rex Lucas, or Locus, depends how you want to pronounce it, and letters by ALW's Troy Patiri. Tracy, I think you kind of petitioned for this one.
You know how I feel about him. I love him. I really do. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the artwork in it. The story's naff, like, let's be honest. It is. It's naff.
There you go. And there's a definition for Jason Todd, if you've ever heard one. He's a bit naff, but he's good to look at. All right, okay.
I don't see a problem with that. But I did enjoy the premise, the idea of it. And then, all the Mondays, because they come from Solomon Grundy, it just made me laugh. But why I really liked it, it's literally just one page that I really like, where we get to see this new sexy Bizarro with his like epic hair, beautiful facial hair. I was so happy. And that is that.
I've had to read this book because Bizarro is in 2 panels.
And Red Hood's in the rest of it.
I swear to God. Josh.
Like that panel is really bad. Well, the 2 panels that he's in, but the larger of the 2 panels where Artemis is like, "Rawr," with her half-shaved head, and the way they have her dressed, like, and the way it looks like she's got something orange in between her boobs, and it's awful. But Bizarro has an epic beard.
So the way this works is you're using Bizarro language right now, right? When you're saying it's awful, does that mean you like it?
No, like Artemis is awful, the imagery is awful, but Bizarro has a fucking beard, and like...
How's that New Year's resolution going about swearing?
That's the first F-bomb. And, you know how passionate I am about Bizarro.
Bizarro made me swear.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So that's why I petitioned it, because I wanted you guys to read it and like hate it, because I know you don't like it. But I really enjoyed it. And, the panel with the Flash and Batman all like squalled out on the floor. It's like, ha ha.
I thought that was an advert for something that was so incongruous, but never
I know,
mind.
it was nothing. I think it is an advert for something.
Okay, what?
It doesn't look like it's really, really part of it.
Wait, what?
But I like that page.
It looks like something that would have shown up in Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah.
And then he finds himself, like, bless him, Red Hood, he doesn't have a lot of friends. So now he's got himself a little puppy as well. So, oh, bless.
Yeah, great. Fine. Words fail me. Josh, save me.
Told you. No.
So this book was... Okay. Let me backtrack. This new style of Red Hood, I am still stuck on the fact that he looks like Ermac from Mortal Kombat. You look at the original Ermac and how he was designed, and all of a sudden they make Red Hood look like him? Really? No. No, thank you. I'll pass on that. I don't know. I think this story just did more damage to Red Hood. Just because Red Hood in itself, the character is a badass, and I like Red Hood, just not in this book. Since you mentioned Bizarro, it was cool to see him with the beard. My only concern is if Bizarro and Colossus had a one-night stand, there you go. That's the only response I get is,
Oh my God.
in a weird...
beautiful love child. Beautiful love child.
Right, okay, so Bizarro and Colossus get it on. Love child. I know these are fictitious characters, and I know we're all for gender fluidity and stuff and diversiveness, but there's no way the Colossus and Bizarro, no matter how many times in different positions and different who slot A goes into slot B, or whichever it goes, would produce a child at all. Mixoplex would have to be involved.
Well,
Listen,
the
guys,
fact that
it could be anything. We don't know how Bizarro's anatomy works, do we? We
Yes.
don't know if the men have the women in his world. The men have the babies in this world.
Red Dwarf style.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
basically, you're trying to find out, aren't you? That's what you want to do.
It'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
What a way to go.
But I mean, we are at that point. We are mixing DC and Marvel. Why not just be the perfect combination of that?
Yep, Bizarro and Colossus.
This is what happens when DC and Marvel have a little too much wine. Some fishnets get involved.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's lots of stroking of the beard.
I don't own enough pairs of fishnets for that to happen. Right, okay.
Aside from that, I mean, yeah.
I have to. Right, so my views on this are going to be tainted, all right? Because this book features two of the things that I am least happy, pleased, care about in the DC universe. One of which is Jason Todd, who I always said, and I will continue to say, is better off dead than alive every time. Sorry, he is. What's the point of having what's the point of having in the Batcave a trophy like a memoriam to my greatest failure when the dude's still alive, rocking around? Has he also got Oracle's wheelchair by one side, just in case? It's bullshit. He's better off dead. But Jason Todd, as he is now, he's just another character. There's nothing special about him at all. And then you couple him with Scott Lobdell, whose writing I've never really enjoyed. And this book just seems to be a Tourette's version of let's throw some characters in there and just see what happens. You've got let's throw some Artemis in, even though she's on a different dimension altogether, so she couldn't have used her axe to open the door. And let's throw some Bizarro, and let's throw Wing dude in from Batman Incorporated, which we haven't seen for God knows how long. It's like, come on, put some thought into this. But I don't know. I can take on it, but then my opinion is, as I said, it's massively biased.
You have to admit, and I'm hoping you would agree with this, Under the Red Hood was an amazing story.
Under the Red Hood was a good story set up for the premise, not for the outcome. There you go.
The animated movie was amazing. Jensen Ackles as Red Hood. I'm sold.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
So, I know this is you're going to hate me, but I know it's a cartoon. But you know that first script that he does when he throws in the bag, and he tells them about throws the bag down to the hoodlums and gives them the speech about how he's going to do this. That seems so wooden. It just doesn't feel. It feels like he's just reading off a script, whereas other parts of the movie come across really, really well, especially the end bit.
Coming from the guy holding the AK-47.
Yeah. It's like you're killing me. It's just bad. But the animated movie is pretty good. I've got the running floppies. I just don't like the fact that Jason Todd's around. And of course, if you're up on your Young Justice cartoon show, peeps, there's a little bit of some hints and tips in the last episode 6. Go check it out.
Look at you being so good and not doing any spoilers.
I know. What can I say? Right. So that's the books that we think were great when our off week, and one was good, one was bad, and what we're kind of looking at this week. Guys, we've got a little bit of time left. Is there anything else that the peeps out there should be looking at?
Titans.
Yes.
Battle for Raven Soul. Wow.
I've got to say that I agree with that one. I think Titans has been a really good read. I was worried when, what's his name? The artist Brett Booth left. I've got to be honest. But I think, regardless of the art style, I think Abnett is still doing really well on the book. Josh, what do you think?
I would agree. Titans is definitely one worth going through, for sure.
Justice League Dark is kind of starting to turn a little bit. I don't know what way they're going with it now, but I still like the artwork.
What do you think of that story with Detective Chimp?
Yeah, I know, but I don't know where they're going with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still really like the artwork. And Zatanna's hat is awesome. I know that's a really random thing to say, but her top hat is amazing in it. It's again one of my silly random things, but I'm liking it. It's just this little arc is a bit like, but I still recommend Justice League Dark because it's one of my favorites because it's got a lot of my favorite people in it.
I want Justice League.
Thing's beautiful.
I want Justice League Dark to be great. I want it to really work, and I get disappointed when it doesn't.
Yeah.
Same with a little bit like Justice League. Obviously, Stefan Sejic leaving that book is a massive loss for me. But
yeah,
cool. For me, I will go with Supergirl. Supergirl's out in space, digging down the hunter of the killer of Krypton. She's getting herself into all sorts of trouble. Krypto's there, always good fun. Mark Andrenko and Kevin Maguire on this book. It's a fun read, and it's good to see, as I've said before, Supergirl having a purpose rather than just be DEO type of stuff that she gets no impact from. I don't even mind the different iterations of her costume. It's kind of sells a it has a purpose. It's not just change for change's sake. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
The one book that I was going to mentioned because I could talk today. That if you haven't picked it up is worth it, at least in my opinion. Batman King of Fears ` 6.
I've got the whole series to go through. I read the first one, and it's got that 90s vibe going on. So I've got 2 through 6, so I'm going to sit down and read the whole thing back to back.
I love the 90s aspect, with Batman with the really, really long ears on this one. The other detail that I lost my shit over is the Batmobile. He's using the Batmobile from the animated series.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was one of the coolest cars ever.
Agreed, totally.
Second to the 66 Batmobile, because that one...
I was going to say, my favorite is the 66 Batmobile, but I can understand where you would go with that as well.
Well, having actually driven the car as well...
What?
Yeah.
You're just showboating now, Josh.
Oh, that's worth showboating.
Yeah, I drove it. Oh,
I will admit, I was so white knuckled driving that car, even in a parking lot. I was like, "Don't crash the car! Don't crash the car!" But yes, I have driven the car.
That's awesome.
On that note,
yeah.
So on that note, we have Josh and his driving versus all the other cars that are out there. Cool. All right, so there you go, guys and gals. Some books for you to keep a lookout, some of which will be... I don't think the Kings of Fear book did really well sales-wise, so if you are intrigued, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up the remaining issues quite quickly from the back issue bins. Go for your life. And that's it all from me, I'm afraid. Anything else anyone would like to add?
Just that we're awesome and you need to listen to us. And don't forget to put your little ideas in the bottom of the thread to say which two books you think we should do a versus with.
All right, cool. All right, so all that's left is to say thank you to Josh and Tracy for joining me on this episode of the Definitive Crusade. Don't forget to check out UCPN for all your favourite shows, including Josh, Flipside Focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are back.
Outside the Panels and No Prize Podcast. All right. Till next time, guys. See ya.
Bye.